Welcome back to Mona's Take. I am your host, Mona Rose, and we are here to talk about everything reality TV. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything I have coming up. Remember to comment and share with friends. Just a short recap. Taylor is HOH. She won the wall comp. And everybody's sitting around waiting for her HOH room to be available. She gets her HOH room. She reads her letter. It's from her mom. Her mom's telling her to be true to herself. Be who she is. Don't be fake for anybody. Yada, yada, yada. As soon as she gets through reading her HOH letter, she goes through all of her goodies that she's gotten. And I have to say that it was the most awkward HOH reveal that I've seen. Nobody really knew what to say. Taylor says that, she's going to start doing one-on-ones because nominations are coming early in the morning. So she's going to do the one-on-ones starting Thursday night. And Terrence is adamant that he goes first. The leftovers aren't worried about it because they kind of know what the plan is and what's going to happen going forward. So they all go downstairs. Terrence says he's first. Indy and Alyssa are sitting outside in the tiki room. And Jasmine comes out. She said, I'm next. And Indy said, no, I'm next. And then Alyssa. And then you. So they're kind of fighting over who gets to talk to her first. Terrence tells her, stay how you are. Move how you want to move. This is your HOH. Don't let anyone take it over. She tells Terrence that there's a lot of people in the house that have treated her poorly and are expendable as far as she's concerned. That she really doesn't know what she's going to do yet, but that she's going to hear everybody out. He tells her that he doesn't have any allies in the game since Daniel left. And he doesn't have any allegiance to anyone. Terrence says, money's the target without saying money's the target. He says, well, I figure that the same target that everybody had last week will be the target this week, and you'll be making a big move, but he never mentions Monty's name. He throws in how they should work together for the culture and that somebody from the culture should be able to win the game. Right after that, he's saying that money's the target. He throws in the showmance. There's the showmance going on. Showmances don't last long in the game. He says he wouldn't be mad if she took a shot at Monty, Kyle, or Alyssa. He ends it with, I love you, I got you, blah, 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 blah. The same one that just said the other day, bitch, we don't need you. But he needs her now. Indy comes in next. And she right away throws Jasmine under the bus. And says, I wasn't the one coming up with the plans and the big moves. I was just doing what everybody else told me to do. Jasmine's the one that came up with everything. Jasmine told me what to do. Blah, blah, blah. Indy says that she should use Kyle or Turner for pawns. She's saying the same thing. The target that was last week should be the target for this week. Indy says, I trust you. Whatever you do, I support you. She said, just don't make this a boring show and lie to us. She's talking about her and Alyssa because she's done thrown Jasmine under the bus. I don't like how Taylor right off the bat starts telling people that they're safe. She tells the girls, I'm not putting any of the girls up. You're safe. I told Kyle and Joseph they were safe when they were up on the wall. She's starting to promise safety to too many people before she's even had a chance to hear everybody out and for the leftovers to get together to see where they're going to go this week. Even though it's her HOH, the Alliance still has some input as to what they would do, and then she can ultimately do whatever she wants. Alyssa comes in, and of course, Monty's name comes up. Alyssa said if she goes up as a pawn, she would go home. She doesn't feel safe going up as a pawn because of the showmance that everybody's going to be targeting her. Taylor told her that she's not going to put her up on the front end or the back end. So she's not going to put her up originally, and she's not going to put her up as a back door. Their conversation was pretty short and sweet. Jasmine comes in, and of course she starts this crap. Well, you know, I always root for the underdog. You did so well on the wall comp. This and that. Like, please. She says, I know we didn't start out on a good foot, but that's all behind us now, and that's all water under the bridge, and we're in a good place now. Well, I'm glad she feels that way, because I don't think Taylor feels so much that way. Then she goes into how she's real and direct. She's 100% real. What she says, her word is our bond. I'm honest and upfront. That's how I want to play the game, is to be real. That's why people can be real with me. So you can be real with me. Please. And she said, oh, and I know I put you up as a pawn, but that was back then. I knew you weren't going anywhere. I wouldn't have put you up. No, her intentions that week was to get Taylor out until Pooch volunteered himself. And Amir is the one that pointed out to her that Pooch was too big of a target to let go. And it's funny, all of them so far, Terrence, Indy, Alyssa, and Jasmine, have said that Monty's the target without actually saying his name. They're making a point not to actually say his name. Well, the target that was last week, I'm sure that's what everybody's on board. Everybody wanted him out last week, so I'm sure that'll be an easy week for you. Oh, and the girls have to stick together. We have to represent the women. Where was that all sticking together when they were running her in the dirt for 3 weeks? And she goes from how she plays an honest game, and she's real, and her word's her bond, and she says what she means, to saying, I've never talked bad about you to anyone. No, never. Girl, get out of here. She says she just wants to go listen, and if she hears anything, she'll bring it back up to Taylor. Oh, Lord. Now she done went over the deep end. She tells her that she went to Monty and told Monty that Taylor wasn't a target and that Taylor shouldn't be going home. That it should be Nicole that goes home because she's such a big target. Taylor hasn't done anything to go home. Ooh, all this revised history, I can't. So, they get all theirs out of the way. And it's Taylor, Brittany, Monty, and Turner. And Taylor starts telling them how she plans on putting up 2 of the guys for pawns. But she says, I can't put up Kyle and Joseph because I promised them that I wouldn't. I'm telling him I can't put Monty up right off the bat because I don't want him to give him a chance to play in the veto. I told Kyle I wouldn't put him up. And I can't put Michael up because everybody loves Michael. So basically, she's telling Turner, it comes down to you and Terrence. And Turner said, well, I have no problem going on the block, but let me just run this scenario by you. So he says, you put me and Terrence on the block. Terrence wins the veto, or one of the girls win the veto, pull Terrence down. You've already told the girls you won't put them up, so then you have 2 leftover alliances on the block come Thursday night. And she's like, oh my God, this is so hard, I didn't think about that. So they start going through all the scenarios. And Turner proposes putting up Alyssa and Indy. He said, if you put those 2 up, it's going to split the groups because they're going to campaign against each other. And it's going to cause more turmoil between the 4. And it's going to split those 4 into 2 sets of 2, which would be ripe for the picking. Taylor realizes she's going to have to put up one of the girls. She's going to have to go back on her word. She's already said she will not, under no circumstances, put Jasmine up, and she is very adamant about that. And Brittany says, I don't know why you're protecting the girls when they don't show you the same courtesy. Every one of the girls would put you up in a heartbeat. They all talk bad about you. They're not your friends. And I don't understand why you're giving them the same courtesy that they wouldn't afford you. Monty brings up the fact that the other side totally believes the leftovers are a thing, because they won't let them be in a room alone together for anything. Monty said that those girls are so far up everybody's asses that they can't even get a word in edgewise. So they're watching, they're hall monitoring, they're making sure who's in what room, and they really are. And Lord, for a married woman, Jasmine is like openly flirting with Joseph. You know, he took the bed next to her. He took Taylor's bed. At one point, I think it was yesterday morning, she wakes up and she's like, he's got his back to her, and she's like rubbing his back. Joseph, honey, wake up. I'm like, ooh. I know her man gonna be hot when this is over with. Taylor tells Michael that Terrence said, whatever you do, I support you. And Michael says, well, I don't think he's gonna like it. Because she's definitely putting Terrence up. Kyle tells Taylor about Jasmine saying she didn't want to talk to Taylor. Remember, I told you, it's like, this is gonna be so hard. I don't want to have to go talk to her. I have to force myself to talk to her. So Kyle tells Taylor about that. And I think all of the leftovers would be ecstatic if she would put Jasmine on the block. But I don't think anything they tell her, that's not going to happen. Because that's her own personal belief. And it is what it is. He's also telling everyone, or telling them that Jasmine's telling everyone that he caught Brittany and Taylor in the storage room celebrating the win. Joseph and Taylor talk, and Joseph says it drives him crazy how fake they are being to her. And I'm a little worried at this point that Joseph is starting to overplay his hand. And it might be his downfall. I'm kind of afraid that he's also playing her a little bit. Taylor talks to the camera and said, today's the day. I have to go work back on my word and nominate one of the girls. She said that she's adamant not to put Jasmine on the block, even though Jasmine wouldn't do the same for her. You can tell that going back on her word is bothering her. And I think she's worried about the repercussions of Indy, because she's thinking about putting Indy and Terrence on the block. Taylor says that she has, I guess they start putting a seed out. And Indy goes up to talk to Taylor. And Taylor said, you know, I'm sorry, but I've talked to everybody and I'm going to have to use you for a pawn. And I know I told you I wouldn't use you as a pawn. And I apologize, but the way everything's come down, I'm going to have to use you as a pawn. And she tells her, she said, I don't know for sure, but it's going to be between you and Brittany. And Indy says, well, that's fine. That's fine. You tell me you wouldn't, but you're going to. And that's fine. I wouldn't do that to you. Same thing she told Monty. Play the guilt trip. Well, you can go ahead and do what you want, but I wouldn't do that to you. Please. Indy was the one that was leading the charge to vote Taylor out instead of Nicole. And her exact words were, if you don't get that bitch out, she's going to win the game. And now you want to play a guilt trip on Taylor? Get over it. The one thing that Indy has said from the beginning is she either wanted to go out pre-jury or she wanted to be in the final two. That she did not want to go to the jury house because she felt like it was a waste of her summer. So that's what she's going on and on about. I don't want to go to the jury house. I said I don't want to go to the jury house. I would have rather went out last week. I don't want to waste my summer. And Indy is pissed that Taylor's not going to put up two guys like she said she would, instead of her. And Indy sends Jasmine up to talk to Taylor on her behalf. Jasmine goes up and she lied through her teeth, saying Indy didn't tell her anything. Indy's the one that sent her up there to talk to Jasmine, or to Taylor, and convince her not to put her on the block. Jasmine said, I haven't talked to Indy, but I think she's a competitor, and this will give Indy a shot to build the resume. She didn't even try to save Indy. She says, girl, whatever you decide, I got your back, and I'm sure she'll get over it. Jasmine, I can't say enough. I want her out so bad. Michael tells Indy that he will vote to keep her. Indy said that if she wins HOH, now she can put Taylor up, and she doesn't have any qualms about doing so because Taylor put her on the block. Terrence has the audacity to be pissed at Taylor because it's rumored now that he's going on the block. And he says, she's not doing good jury management. She's messing up her jury. And if I go to jury, I'm going to taint that whole house against her. Bet that. I'm going to run the jury house if I'm first in the jury house. And he's going off. And Jasmine tells Terrence to be careful because her best friend is right outside. Brittany was laying in her bed. And they were in the car room. So Jasmine's like, be careful. Her best friend is right out there. And Terrence is like, I don't give up. Joseph talks to Indy and Jasmine and tells them that Taylor's not after Indy. That it'll either be Terrence or it will either be Terrence or Monty that go home. Jasmine said, you need to talk to her about bringing in me and Indy. So they think that Joseph and Taylor are a behind-the-scenes showmans. So Jasmine's saying, you need to go up there and talk to her. You need to tell her that we all need to work together. Joseph is telling them that Taylor's telling him that she doesn't want to start the showmans because they're going to end up just having to vote each other out. And so she doesn't want to do anything in the house. And Jasmine said, damn it, I knew I should have come into this house single. Not only are you not single, but you are married. What, are you going to get a divorce before you get a big brother? Give me a break. Oh. She does make me giggle. They're talking about the sleeping arrangements. Jasmine, right now, Joseph is in Taylor's bed. Then it's Jasmine, and then Kyle, and then Brittany. They're wanting Brittany to go to the bubble room, and they're wanting Alyssa to come out with them. And Brittany's not budging. She likes her bed. She's not going anywhere. And Jasmine said, we've already tried to talk to her and it's not going to work. She wants to be there because she's so damn nosy. She just wants to see what all's going on. Which is probably true. But she doesn't know what's going on. So, the nominations are Indy and Terrence. Indy's pissed. Terrence is pissed. They're stomping around the house. A lot of conversations going on. So the next video today will be after the veto ceremony. I'll come back on. We'll talk about the veto, who won the veto, and where the leftovers are going from here. So that's about all I have for you guys today. Don't forget to comment, and as always, much love.